Good morning from him, and it's a good morning from me. Hope everybody's well. Great to be back. Been away for a couple of weeks, so let's go on air, shall we? Great to be back, talking to you all things mortgages, updating you on everything you need to know when it comes to the mortgage sector. So yeah, I've had a couple of weeks away. I went to see my dad actually down in France. A lovely time. He lives down in Bordeaux, which the weather was pretty awful actually, but it's a bit better. But great wine country, of course, as you can appreciate, Bordeaux. So back now with a bit of a bang, really, because what I want to do is talk to you about the changes that are going on in the mortgage exams. If any of you are taking your mortgage exams or planning to, or just like to keep up to date, really, because that's called CPD, by the way, you got to do it. Then I want to give you an update on what's been changed in the syllabus, because the new exam's starting, I think it's the 15th of July or something. So anybody taking the new paper from there on will have the new material. The big thing is, though, there's not been a lot of changes. People get really sort of uptight about it. Oh my God, I need to restudy the whole book. You don't. You really do not. Don't get caught up by the marketing hype of some of the examination bodies who just want you to renew your books and everything like that. So let's talk about what's been going on, what changes have been happening. Hope you're well, by the way. Hope you're good. Hope you're enjoying the summer, or what we've had over summer. I think our summer finished last week before last, for a day, didn't we, with some hot weather. So anyway, let's head over to the whiteboard, because what I want to do now is share with you what's been going on, what the changes then to the exam itself. So as always, there's two things to think about here. There's changes, in other words, what's changed, and what new stuff has come in. So what new topics that you need to be aware of. Now, both of these will help you to do your CPD. If you're doing the exam, say you'll be able to focus on what's changed. So what's changed, first of all? Well, not a lot. It's the answer to that one. A bit glib, that answer, no? But there have not been a lot of changes. The big changes, of course, are taxation. They always have. We used to have lots of big changes. National insurance, all these things tend to change each year, but this year they've hardly changed at all, if anything whatsoever. Now, the only three things really that have changed are the income tax numbers slightly altered on banding, dividend taxation numbers have altered, national insurance, but you don't get asked questions on that, and the married couples allowance, which is lingering on, but people born for 1935, I think, so it's a really old. My dad doesn't get it, so, and he's old. No, he's not. Actually, he's quite young. But there we are. Enough of that. Let's talk about the tax changes. What I've got for you on the screen. So I'm going to go now to my shared screen. I've got the LRBF tax table for 22-23. And you can see quite clearly that this information is all given to you in the exam. You either get this as a piece of paper or it's a screen PDF that you can grab. Now, just taking you through the changes, as you can see, over on the side there, you've got 21-22. Let's get a little dot here. Yeah. 21-22, and there's 22-23. As you can see, the numbers are all the same. And there's our Scottish friends. All their numbers are slightly different, but that's just the way it is. Look at those complicated numbers. Anyway, you very rarely get questions on Scots taxation, but you might do. But this is the England and Wales. As you can see, the numbers haven't changed. Now, the CMAT 1 hadn't been changed, though, since 2020. So there is a couple of changes on there that you need to be aware of. As we continue up the rest of the tax sheet there, you've got personal allowances. Now, you'll notice here that these are the personal allowances everyone's entitled to. Again, that figure hasn't changed either. But the married couples allowance has. Now, remember, the married couples allowance is given to people who were born before 1935. There you go, 1935. It's given to a couple. It's effectively just increases the amount of tax-free pay they have, but they only get it at 10%. We've got separate videos on that, but it's changed slightly. And the income limit for the personal allowance hasn't changed either. So as you can see, nothing's changed. Now, the taxable savings income is at 5,000. It's not changed. Your personal tax allowance, personal savings allowance, £1,000 or £500 for higher taxpayers. That's the same. There's the £100,000 adjustment there as well. So we've got videos on all these things. You don't need to worry too much about that now. Here's the divvies then. Dividends, first 2,000 is tax-free as before. But of course, they increased them slightly, didn't they? There we are, 8.75, 33.75, and 39.35. to make things more complicated. They did that with the social care levy, didn't they? They changed that last year. So they're something to remember. You'll get that in the tax sheet anyway, so you don't need to remember those figures. Inheritance tax, as you can see, no change whatsoever. You've got the residence nil rate band, of course, it's still the same. 36% if they give a lot of money away to charity. That's a trick question sometimes in the exam. But no changes there to inheritance tax. All the gifts are similar. The pet as well. Again, numbers are very much the same. Capital gains tax, look at that. Same again. It's great, isn't it? Well, it's great for us doing exams, but it's not so good for people who are being caught in this sort of extra tax they're going to have to start paying. There's your stamp duty. Land tax to Scotland. Land tax for Wales. And there's your land tax for, well, there's Scotland, there's Wales, and that's England there. So you've got different stamp duties. Personal allowances or pension allowances. The 1073100 hasn't changed either. That's the same. Hasn't changed now since 2021. So that's your allowances there. Pensions credit. This is the extra money given to pensioners who are needing of extra money. As you can see, the numbers go up, but they go up each year anyway, because they should do. And capital is deemed to be £1 a week for every £500. That's still the same as well. So I wanted just to go through the tax sheet with you, just because, you know, there haven't been that many changes. The problem is, of course, you've got people who are now becoming high rate taxpayers who never were before, because they're not changing any of the allowances and the bands for high rate tax and things. People who get a pay rise of 10%, because a lot of people are, will go into higher rate tax. Bit naughty, but the government needs to get their money back to pay for COVID and everything else that's costing them a bomb at the moment. But there we are, that's politics. So that's the tax sheet. So we've got there a couple of minor changes, but what's come into the syllabus now? What are things that you may want to be genning yourself up on? To make sure you're up to date, etc., etc. Well, there's a few things have crept in, and we've added a couple of bits as well to help out. There's one there called funeral plans. Now, funeral plans are now regulated. About time too, as well. So you'll need to know how they're regulated under the FCA. So we put a new paragraph in our revision guide, and we produced some videos for those as well on funeral plans. But that's about time too, kind of thing. Well done, FCA, for getting that sorted. Passive funds are getting a bit more of a write-up now. ETFs, exchange trading funds, are index-based tracker funds. That's all they are. What about investing here? So this is CMAP 1. Passive investing is where you don't pay somebody to do the investing for you. It's not an active investment. It's passive, becoming more and more popular now. So there's some new information in the syllabus on that for you as well. Over on the CMAP 2, we've got very little changes really. You have got the new leasehold reform of 2022. Again, you need to know about that. We've got a new paragraph in our revision guide, on a new section in there. So that's something to be wary of. That's going to change how people purchase leasehold properties moving forward. Big one for the FCA now, the big consumer duty. That's going to change a lot of things, actually. Sort of kind of replacing treating customers fairly, fair outcomes. They keep renaming the words all the time. Now it's called new consumer duty. Again, we've put some new stuff in our fact find and our revision guide on that for you as well. So that's something to be wary of. The EU and the withdrawal bill, or withdrawal act, of course. How's that affecting things as well? Because obviously we're Brexited, and financial services wasn't part of the deal that they struck. That was just on products. It wasn't on services. So there's a few things happening there about how we're transitioning now to working cooperatively with the EU, because we should, and we want obviously to trade over in Europe as well on financial services. So there's lots of cooperation happening. So again, we put a new section in there, a new video for you on that one as well. Last one there is ARs. A bit more of a focus on ARs, appointed representatives, and how they're approved, because they don't come under the senior management thing. You see, they use the old approved persons, so you need to be aware of that. A lot of people stop learning that because most new mortgage brokers happen to be ARs. It's a big one that for you as well. The big one, though, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to share this with you now, and I'm going to squeeze this over here, is welfare. Welfare benefits. I suppose you could probably put those over there. They change, don't they? The welfare benefits that the UK government pay people that need it. Some slight changes, which I want to share with you right now with another screen share. So let's head over here, shall we? And we'll do another little screen share. So let's get rid of our taxation. We don't need that. We'll go to welfare benefits, and just so you can read that a bit better, there we go. View that one, and we'll go, where are we? Welfare benefits, view, and we'll go for read mode. How's that? There we are. Now, this comes from our revision guide. We publish this in all our revision guides, equity release as well. It's a summary of all the welfare benefits and all the key information that you need. Jolly useful for those of you that are reading the book and get really bored when you're reading the book all about welfare benefits, because there's quite a lot of them, as you can see. Now, you should have a good understanding of these, but have this kind of card available to you as a summary. So let me take you through what has changed on welfare benefits. And we'll use my little clicker for this as well. First of all, the state pension, that's pretty much the same as it ever was. The state pensions credit, this one, the numbers have increased. There you've got the figures there for the weekly threshold for single people, and there's the couple there as well. The basic state pension, same as it was before, replaces all the other pensions. The triple lock's still there. CPI 2.5% or earnings is what it increases by. So with CPI riding at 8-9%, they're going to get a nice little pay rise, aren't they? And why not? They should. And they all vote as well. That's probably why they have a triple lock, because pensions all vote. But we don't talk politics, will we? Now, the family benefits here, there's quite a few family benefits here that you need to be aware of. You've got your maternity pay and maternity allowance and state paternity pay. And this obviously people with children, and rightfully so. So there's a few things going on there. Now, these columns here, let's go up to the NI, means tested, and tax. That's what you need to know for the exam, oddly enough. First of all, do you have to pay national insurance to get the benefit? Is the benefit means tested on your income and your capital? And is it taxed? Now, that kind of correlation you do need to be aware of and remember for the exam as well. So I would definitely remember this. Now, there is a bit of a pattern forming, and I'll share this with you in a second. Now, because state or statutory maternity pay, you have to pay national insurance to get it. It's not means tested and it's taxable, but you get more of it. Maternity allowance, you don't have to have national insurance to pay for it, but it is means tested. So they're going to see how rich you are, and it's not taxed. There's a whole lot less. That tends to be the way the pattern works. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. State paternity pay, I never got that, but 2 weeks, nice. The child benefit one, again, that's the same as before. Don't forget, it needs paying back if one partner earns more than £50,000. That's a key question that crops up as well. Again, not NI, yes to means tested, and no to taxation. I suppose it's not really means tested because it gets repaid back, but let's not talk semantics, shall we? It is means tested. Here's the big one. That's the one that we've increased our coverage of this one, universal credit. Now, universal credit has now replaced some old benefits. So income support, working tax credit, child tax credit, and housing benefit has all been replaced now by universal credit. But you'll probably see questions lingering for years with these topics in them, because that's the way it works. Eligible for employed or self-employed on a low income, basically to top it up. They want to get away with all these different benefits and now call it universal credit. It stops at state pension age at 66. Standard amount given plus more for disabled and those with dependent children, and rightfully so as well. No for national insurance. It doesn't require national insurance, universal credit. Yes, of course, it's means tested, and no, it's not taxable. There's your means testing on capital, reduces between 6 and 16,000, then removed entirely if you've got lots of money in the bank. And there is the benefit cap, 20 grand maximum outside of London. So that's universal credit now. It's really simplifying things. If you go on the government website, it does look quite smart now. Council tax support, we put this one in here to start with. This is a great one because it affects people on equity release. It helps people on low incomes with their council tax payments. And it's available to be to rent, by the way, as well as owners. And it's provided by the local authority. Paid indefinitely, of course. No for national insurance. Yes, as you can appreciate there, for means testing. and no for tax. Means tax, as you can appreciate. Automatically given to those on pensions credit. Otherwise, you have your income assessed. That's important to know that one. Here's the illness benefit. Statutory sick pay. Nice and easy peasy, as you can see. No change there. This does require national insurance. And this is paid by class 1, so it's employees only. So employed people get statutory sick pay. Moving on to the next page for that one as well. This is not a new one, but they've changed it. It's now called the New Style Employment and Support Allowance. Now, statutory sick pay is given to employees, but after a period of time, they then automatically qualify for the Employment and Support Allowance. It's paid for 13 weeks, not for those claiming statutory sick pay, as you can see. It does increase over a period of time, initial assessment period, and then it's assessed according to your needs and wants. Now, universal credit is available to those who need more, who do not qualify. So that's something to think about, isn't it? Universal credit's really coming into its own now to help people who need it. Attendance allowance, PIP and carers. These are for people that are caring or need caring. Often comes questions. Available to those over 65. PIP is given to people under 65. So there's the difference. The carers allowance is given to people who care. But they've got to be caring for more than 35 hours weekly and of working age. So they're not older, these people. Then you've got job-related benefits. You've got your redundancy payment, which is not really a welfare benefit. Then you've got the New Style Job Seekers Allowance. Paid to those unemployed or working less than 16 hours a week. Paid for 6 months. Yes, national insurance. Can you see how it's all working now? People with national insurance get pretty good benefits because they pay for it. If there's no NI record, you may qualify for universal credit. So they used to have 2 types of these, didn't they? Not anymore. Universal credit's the one that's coming in to cover everybody that needs help, who hasn't really got an NI record. NI just gives you better benefits. There's the SME, support for mortgage interest. We put that into our grid this time. This is the loan payment system given to people who can't pay their mortgage. And it's payable after 9 months. But to qualify, you've got to either go for universal credit or pensions credit, job seekers or employment support allowance. You've got to apply for one of those things, if you see where I'm coming from, to get your support for mortgage interest. Again, we've got separate videos on that as well. The death benefit's an important one, as you can appreciate. Simplified beautifully now with the bereavement support payment now. That's what it's called. Anybody under state pension age, paid to widows, widowers, or surviving civil partners, so it's male and female. Payable for 18 months, but you need a national insurance record to get it. Higher rate paid to spouse who's got dependent children, lump sum there, followed by payments. Quite reasonably good payments, I suppose, but nothing to replace what's been lost, which is why life insurance, of course, comes into its own. So as you can see, that's a nice little summary there of all the benefits. As a mortgage advisor, you should be aware of them. Of course you should. And it's something that you can always refer to whenever you need to. The government's website's pretty good as well. It has all the information that you need. So as you can see from our list here, I put the welfare benefits, 1 or 2 changes, some new topics as well. So that's been the changes, which hopefully has been a nice little update for you, really. All good stuff, eh? Hey, it's 4th of July today. Our US friends are going to be celebrating fireworks and everything going off. Got a session actually later this week with some USA guys. I might just get a US flag and put it over there. Very patriotic, aren't they? And we are too, but I think the Americans do patriotism a little bit better maybe than the Brits, but that's just the way we are, isn't it? So congratulations, guys. I hope you have a great holiday this week, or today, or however long you decide to take off. Enough of all that. Let's wrap things up for you. Hope you found it all useful today. We'll be back again next Monday. And what's going on at the moment? Well, we've got our PDF starting tomorrow, Professional Development Foundation. If you want some really good coaching and skills development, we've got that starting for a lucky few people. We've got another boot camp kicking off end of July now. So if you wanted to come on board for that, you can do. All our materials up to date now. We've been spending a lot of time getting that all sorted. So really pleased about that. CMAP 3 audio has been published. You can buy that now as well if you want to. We put it onto our learning management system this time. So go onto the website, gives you details. Enough of all that. So, hope you have a lovely day and I'll see you all next week. Bye from me. There you go.